Let me see that. We might have something here, guys.
Oh, finally, we got time to build the Eiffel Tower. I feel like I've been building this thing forever, but now that we got some time, let's see if we can get it done. Hello, disorderly cone, time traveler. Well, yeah, actually, I'm aware of that drawing. That's of me. And if you happen to have it, I would really like it back, if you don't mind. You want the premium series Titanic model in the picture. Well, that's actually at the bottom of the ocean right now, so it might be a little bit hard to get to, if you know what I mean. So I'll just be over shortly to grab the... Well, no, okay. Oh, don't be hasty. I can maybe get it back. I'm a time traveler, after all. It's just gonna take a little bit of time, okay? All right. Being held hostage for my own drawing. Oh, hey everyone. Looks like we're going back to the Titanic. Make sure you have your life jackets in order and keep your hands inside of the time machine at all times. Here we go.
TARDIS. Groovers, let's get down to the, somewhere here and take a look at our package.
Okay, I think we're safe. Hey everyone, and welcome to Groove Builders, the show where we create together. I'm your host, Disorderly Cone, and in this episode, we're going to be building the Titanic, the Metal Earth Premium Series Titanic, and this has been completely redesigned with a whole bunch of new color and detail for us to be able to put together. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yes, we have been here before, so we do have to be careful about where we go on the ship. We don't want to run into our past selves. That would be kind of a bad thing. So just make sure that you're keeping your minds about yourself, about where we've been in the past, like right here, for instance. Got to be a little bit careful with our timing. Now, we need to know, what tools are we going to need to build this model? What are the tricky bits, and will it actually all go together? These are all great questions, and we're going to answer them. Let's get down to the workbench and open up our package while I try to find this ship. If I remember correctly, I left it at the creme brulee station, and that was that way. Oh, hey guys, welcome back. I see that you've opened up our package and found all of our metal was between our instructions. Pretty cool. It actually protects it, and considering we have so many bits of detail to form, that's actually really nice. Now, you'll be happy to know, if you're looking to build this model, that all of our basic 3D metal model tools will be used for this. And for those that are unfamiliar with our frontline basic 3D metal model tools, don't worry, we're going to go over them right now. The first thing you're going to need is a pair of nippers. These nippers are used for being able to take our parts out of their little sheets of metal, and it's very important that we get right to the part before we clip them out. This way we don't have any little bits of metal left over on our pieces that might get in the way when we're trying to put everything together. Next up, we're going to need ourselves a really good pair of tweezers. Now, there's all different kinds of tweezers on the market. These are just your basic ones, and these ones are very simple for shaping all of our pieces. Now, this is really all you need to build this set, just a pair of nippers and tweezers. But of course, having some other tools will make things a little bit easier, especially when it comes to forming all of those cylindrical pieces like the smokestacks we got to do. Now, those are only something like this. This is a hand mandrel, and these are used for getting those cylindrical pieces. You might find this might not be big enough to do your stacks, and in which case you might want to look at something like this, which is our dapping set. Dapping sets are really cool because they have these little knobs here on the top which allow us to be able to press our pieces into our mouse pad and get a really nice shaping. We can also wrap our pieces around the center here to get a really nice cylindrical shape, which is very useful for some of the pieces on our Titanic. Finally, we're definitely going to need a pair of pliers. These pliers are useful for grabbing bigger pieces or even reaching deep inside our models to grab the little bits of tabs that might be harder to get. Some of the more flatter pliers out there are really useful for reshaping some of our pieces that might get warped when we're putting all of this together, like our flags at the top. Alright, now these again are just our recommendations, and you really don't need anything but nippers and tweezers to get the job done. However, having all of these tools will make everything a lot easier for you. Alright, now we've opened up our package and we know what tools we're going to be using. There's only one more thing we need to do, and that's for you to press that like and subscribe button. We're currently trying to get to 4,000 subscribers and really could use your help. No pressure at all though, we'll just wait here. It's not like we're on a sinking ship or anything. Kind of awkward. Oh, it's that little thumbs up and that little red button there. No worries at all, just take your time. It's not like we're going to be hitting an iceberg in about 10 minutes. Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. We have all kinds of really cool videos coming out in the future, and knowing that you're going to be there is kind of awesome. All right, now let's get down to the workbench and build this Titanic. And just like that, we are off to the races, beginning with our iconic smokestacks on the Titanic. Now, if you've built the previous one, you'll notice right away that these are built completely differently. And I'm not complaining. The other one, having 3 different pieces, kind of made everything look a little bit weird if it didn't line up just correctly. These ones are straight pipes, which look way better. But getting them to look good is up to you, and the key here is to make sure that every bit of the metal is bent, and we can do this in numerous different ways. As you can see here, I use my step mandrel and I also use my dapping set to get that proper shape. The way we do that is by using a tool that's bigger than what we need to start, and then pushing our metal right into it, ensuring that every millimeter of that piece is being bent. And then we grab a smaller tool and do the same thing until we get the proper size. This is a way faster way and a lot more uniform way of shaping all of our pieces, and I highly recommend doing this whenever we can. You might be asking, why aren't you attaching that outside detail first before getting that whole stack formed? Well, the reason why I do this is because when you tend to put detail on any piece and then you need to wrap it around something, the tabs on the inside of the part kind of get in the way and they create this really weird egg shape, which we don't need in this case. We want a perfectly cylindrical piece for our smokestacks. So it's always a good idea to get our shaping first and then attach the detail so that everything looks nice and uniform like this. There we go, all of our iconic smokestacks are completed. Now we can push those aside and begin work on step number 5, which has us building some interesting details here, which if you understand these ones, you can pretty much get all the other details for our Titanic as well. Starting off with part 13, it's just a matter of bending all of our sides. Now with this particular step, I would wait to bend the sides until all of our details attach to part 13, just because it makes it a lot easier for us to be able to get at our tabs. The other pieces here really just involve bending the borders and matching one side. Let's take a look at one of our vents here real quickly. For the vent detail, we want to bend down one of our sides and then use the center of our part to kind of bend down and match the edge of our one side. Once we do this, we can close it off with the other side, and you can kind of gauge if you need to bend a little bit more or a little bit less to get everything to line up a little bit. I know that that sounds a little bit complicated, but as you can see here, it's pretty easy to do in practice. And regardless of what part you're forming, if you follow this principle, you should get a pretty good shape. All right, we're entering the infamous lifeboat time. Now with these particular boats, they're really not too difficult to bend, especially if we follow that bending principle that we talked about with our vents. All we need to do is bend down our sides to match the center. And you'll notice that you'll actually need to kind of bend these on a little bit of an angle in order to be able to get the borders to match up. Take your time with these boats, and if you can, try to match up those borders almost perfectly so you don't have any seams. I know that that's kind of hard to do, but it will look really nice, especially when they're all nice and uniform. When it comes to installing our boats, it's really important to make sure that we're following the pattern on part 19. The reason for this is that these can actually be installed backwards, and it will make the model look a little bit wonky at the end. So pay close attention to what side these boats are going on and what direction your lifeboats are facing. Okay, now finally we get to build the exterior part of our ship a little bit with part 57. This is an interesting shape, especially because it has kind of this concave look to it. I found that I could use my dapping set to help me kind of get that rounded effect, but for the most part, my thumb was really the best thing to use. Now we do need to get some of those tabs secured, and I really recommend just kind of slowly working the piece into its proper form. Every bit of part 57 does fit together pretty well, and if you shape it correctly, it shouldn't have any gaps in it. So if we just follow the shaping of that top rail piece there, the part should almost shape itself with a little bit of help. Here we go to steps 14 and 15. Now with these pieces here, all we need to do is kind of go around our edges and bend all of our tabs down. This makes it easier for everything to kind of go together in the locking motion. Where things become a little bit more tricky is the smaller bits of detail on part 14, mostly around that propeller and anchor on part 15. These pieces here really just need us to take a little bit of time and ensure that the tabs are slightly bent just a little bit so they go into their insertion holes a lot easier. This propeller actually goes on pretty simply. Later on down the road though, there's a propeller that we're going to talk about, and that one, whew, you better have some coffee or something around because you're going to be playing with that one. Yeah, it's coming. But right now, let's continue on with some more details here. Okay, now we've done a lot of bending, we've done a lot of shaping, and now we're just putting all of our things together here. And this is where it can get a little bit tricky. As you can see, some of our detailed pieces here don't necessarily line up right away, and that's because they're all a little bit janky at the moment. And right now, I actually had forgotten to put a couple of our tabs in the right places, and that's why that top is so flimsy and all over the place. But shaping our sides is just a matter of putting all of our tabs into their insertion holes. And I really recommend doing the upper deck first and then working your way down to the sides and to the lower deck. The lower deck area, for the most part, goes together pretty easily. But where I found a little bit of a struggle was towards the rear and where we find that infamous propeller. I say infamous propeller because this guy right here, out of all the pieces in this kit, gave me the most trouble ever. When I say that there's some difficult pieces in the model, this is the piece that I am referring to. This is what I'm warning you about right here, because you can be happy-go-lucky, everything going great. You're spreading peace, love, and joy, and then you get a propeller like this, and everything just goes to hell in a handbasket. This right here will make you pull your hair out. I don't even have hair, and I found hair to pull out with this particular piece. It is that stressful, my friends. Okay, we're back to normal now. My personal recommendation for this is to ensure that your tabs are pulled out as far as possible and to ensure that the back tabs are also secured as best as they possibly can be. You don't want to have any leftover metal at those parts. If they are further away, if those tabs are too far away to go, then the actual propeller pieces that need to be able to meet those back tabs just simply will not reach. And you can do everything in your power and they will not get there. So you need to make sure that the body of the back is just compressed a little tiny bit to allow the propeller arms there to be able to reach in and be secured. Now, once you do that, make sure you stand up and do a little happy dance, because I definitely did. Finally, our flag detail. If you remember in the previous Titanic, this was also a real pain in the butt to be able to put together. In this particular case, the Fascination team has really broken this down into more steps, and because of that, it's a lot easier to put all of this together. Our cables are still secured with 2 tabs. However, the way they're done now, it's a lot easier to do. The only thing you need to worry about is actually warping our pieces here. Once they are warped, it's really hard to make them look nice again. You kind of have to have something that's really strong to kind of press everything and reform it. So my suggestion here is to handle these pieces very delicately until they're in place. And then once they're in place, you can do whatever you want. But that is my word to the wise. All right, let's complete this build. And boom, there we have it, the Metal Earth Premium Series Titanic in all of its glory. Now to bring us back to our current timeline and get my drawing back. Oh, hey GP1, I haven't seen you in a little while. Well, I'm actually not that disorderly cone. I'm from the future. Yeah, and you know that by me being here, you lose. And that I know everything about you. I hope you enjoy the current time you have, because not very much. There we go. A little bit of a safer environment to take a look at our Metal Earth Premium Series Titanic in. This build was a lot of fun to put together, even though there were some details that kind of gave us a hard time, mainly that propeller in the back. But when I compare this model to the original Titanic from Metal Earth, I have to say that this one was still a lot easier to build, even though there was some interesting details to form. This one here, with its thicker metal and unique bottom pieces here, really do provide a lot of stress. And while it's not impossible to build, when you compare it to something like this is just so much more fun to build, especially with these larger pieces and colored details. Of course, there are other ship Titanics now out there in the 3D metal model world, and some of them look very cool, and I can't wait to get my hands on them and build them for themselves. But the Metal Earth Titanic in itself is still a really awesome piece. And if you're looking to build a Titanic, I really highly suggest this one. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and I think you'll really like how it ends up. All right, Groovers, that brings us to the end of our episode. I had a really good time building the Premium Series Metal Earth Titanic with you. And if you guys had a good time, don't forget to press that like button. For more videos like this, hit subscribe as well, as we have all kinds of really cool content coming in the future, and I would love to have you there. Did you find that I missed something in this video about the details? Well, don't worry, we actually have a complete 2-part build video about everything to do with this Titanic that you can go and watch yourself, and I'll build this with you from start to finish. Until next time, Groovers, keep building. Now to get my drawing back, I think I look a lot better than those French girls.